How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Charlottesville, Virginia's City Council voting to remove Thomas Jefferson's birthday as a holiday, which was April the 13th. Now they're going to replace it with a day that represents freedom and liberation on March 3rd. And that day, 1865, that's when Union soldiers came to Virginia at the end of the Civil War. So that kind of signifies the end of slavery, similar to Juneteenth. Now, this is no more than them trying to fix their image. The guy that killed Heather Heyer through the vehicle just got sentenced to life behind bars. So they want to do this to further distance themselves away from that incident. But see, here's the thing about that. That situation was about the statue of Robert E. Lee, a Confederate general. Was Thomas Jefferson a Confederate general? No, he was not. He was the third president of the U.S. of A. He wrote the Declaration of Independence. He is a founding father. He founded UVA, which is what Charlottesville is based on. The population of Charlottesville is like 48,000. I'm willing to bet about half of that are UVA students by themselves. Charlottesville is a college town. It's basically Thomas Jefferson's place. Okay. He did not found Charlottesville, but it basically belongs to him. So trying to remove him from the history books, in a sense, is ridiculous. And I'm not really surprised. If you look at the makeup of the city council, and if you look at the rhetoric that's been happening about Charlottesville, it's easy to see why this passed 4-1. And out of these people you see on the screen before you, guess who was the one person that did not vote for this particular thing to go through? You probably only got two choices, so just pick one. All right. But I digress. This is really silly, and it just points to people trying to erase history. You know, it started with the Confederate monuments. They're saying, oh, we got to get rid of those because feelings of racism, feelings of hatred, feelings of, being less than someone else are going to arise as a result. We don't want to celebrate the losers, is that, and the third. Really what it is trying to change history to what you want. Oh, put it in the museum. You want to hide it in the museum. Okay. Replace it with this statue. You want to just act like that part of history didn't happen. Same thing with Thomas Jefferson. Now, somebody on the city council said, well, you're reminded of him all year, 365 days of the year, because you got monuments, you got all kind of things that are about Thomas Jefferson all over the city. But this here, I think, is just one way it starts. Like I said, first it was the Confederate monuments. Now you got U.S. presidents that were not Confederate generals being removed in a sense. Okay. First it was a Confederate flag. Now, like I said yesterday, and the whole Colin Kaepernick kerfuffle, now it's the American flag. Oh, the Betsy Ross flag, that's offensive because it was around during slavery when you had 13 colonies, and the 13 stars represent 13 colonies. Meanwhile, the 13 stripes represent 13 colonies as well. So are we going to get rid of everything? Are we going to get rid of 4th of July? That's going to be the next thing on chopping block, because you understand how progressives operate. They do small things that are easily able to get past, and then they elevate to bigger things that are going to be more difficult to get past. But see, since they already have a little bit of a precedent there, it's easier to kind of get things done than it would be without the precedent being set. All right. Mount Rushmore is going to be next. You're going to have serious talks about Mount Rushmore being altered, edited, having some kind of additions on it. And of course, subtractions, because George Washington, all these people that we talk about, former presidents, were slave owners. They were racist. They were bigots. Same thing with your monies. They are talking about Harriet Tubman and trying to put her on the fast track to be on the 10 or the 20. They're going to remove somebody from the $1 bill as well. George Washington. They're going to start to rename things in a more progressive way. A Barack Obama Boulevard. You're already seeing that start to happen all over the country. This is not surprising. I think the solution, as I close to this, would be to have more conservative people, young people now, get into office. Nothing against anybody that's not young, but you got to have that young blood be in there, because the people that have been there for a long time, sometimes they can become part of the establishment. They're in this deep state. They've been entrenched into politics for their entire life. Let's get some young, fresh faces in there and turn things around. I've been asked to run, and I think I might have to pretty soon here. I'm not really sure when, but I think people like myself need to be out there running. This was a local decision made that would contribute to the national discussion about these kinds of things. Former presidents that were quote unquote racist and slave owners, should we be honoring them anymore? Okay. How about the 4th of July? What do we honor on that particular day? Should we change that? Should that not be a holiday in our particular city, town, state, etc.? How about the entire nation? The progressives start small and then they grow big. We should do the same thing as them. Start with small measures. Take an office here in this local small town in a bigger city, then the state, then the nation. So that's pretty much all I got. What say you? Are you surprised at Charlottesville City Council for removing Thomas Jefferson's birthday as a holiday? If you are, let me know why in the comments below. You already know I'm not surprised at all. This was easily predictable based upon previous events that have happened, previous things that have been said. These people, these so-called progressives, how they operate, they start with a small measure and then they grow to a large measure. Us on the right got to operate in the same way. Start with a small measure. Okay. Little things on the local level. Start with taking office on a small level, a township, a village, a small town, a small city, big city, a state, and then the nation. That's how we got to go. If we're not going to operate that way, we're going to have a lot of problems coming up here, especially 2020, 2024. And moving forward. That's all I got. So whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.